Hello, everyone. I hope you guys can hear me. I was in the chat a little bit before going live, so hopefully I got to some of your questions. If I answered your question in the chat, I'm going to go ahead and skip it right now. So I think I just answered Diego's question. He asked his question at 5:39. I do think we're going to need to reapply once our benefit year has ended. That's kind of how the new stimulus bill is written, that once our benefit years end, they want us to try and apply for a new claim. And I've talked about that a little bit before. Here's the reason why I think that is. When we're on a regular unemployment claim, that money is paid by the state, but all of the extensions right now are paid out of the federal budget, and the federal government would just rather the states have to pay our unemployment claims. So that's what I think is going on there with having us try to reapply. And then if we don't qualify for a whole new claim, and I actually think it would be better if we could qualify for a whole new claim, because then you get a fresh set of 26 weeks. Then any extensions that come around in the new stimulus bill, and then if the unemployment rate in California is still high, then you would still go to Fed Ed. Whereas because of the earnings requirements for Fed Ed, if you don't qualify for a new claim right now, you would have extensions, and you would have extensions from the new stimulus bill, which hasn't passed yet, but we expect it to, not without delays. Maybe without delays, but just judging by past history, I'm not going to be surprised if there's delays. By the time those extensions are done, we might not qualify for Fed Ed. So in my opinion, it would be better to qualify for a whole new claim. Okay, I hope that made sense. Alan said, oh, we did. Okay, so Alan's, I called and told them I have not received an extension or been able to certify since 1/2. My claim has been at 0 since early January. I was told that all I can do is wait. Does that sound right? Not if you were able to certify and get paid in January. It was supposed to only be claims that hit a $0 balance before December 26th. So I would enlist the help of your assembly member and see what they say. Have they told you that you needed to do ID verification? Have they told you that your claim is in review and maybe you need a phone interview? That's something else I wanted to talk about, is those phone interviews. They are supposed to be short, but if you're at the point where they tell you that you need one of those phone interviews, I don't think reps can help you with that. Even tier 2 reps, I don't think your assembly members are able to push that forward. You are going to need to wait for the phone interview. Once you get that phone interview, they're pretty quick. It could be for anything, like if you had a baby and so you had some family leave and you had some unemployment. It can be if you said, uh-oh, my connection's telling me it's unstable. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. It can be if you said that you were not able, or if there was a reason other than sickness or injury why you weren't able to accept work. I've shared this story. One of my employees was saying yes. He was saying that he was not able to accept work because he's furloughed and our business isn't able to reopen. But this computer system does not know about the pandemic that we're in the middle of, so that flags it. But then if he has the phone interview, they're able to say, oh yeah, that's correct. And then they go ahead and pay him. I have heard from the reps that if he continues to answer yes to that question, he's going to continue to need that phone interview every time. So I'm not sure what the answer is, because I always want to encourage you guys to be truthful. Yes, it will be retroactive, Alan, once they finally get it sorted out. Back to the week, when you were last paid, or December 27th. Andy's helping Diego. Pam says, love you, Shelly. Michelle says, any PUAs from first phase pending. Called and the rep said someone will review it to see if I need to do anything. Yeah, that's that phone determination interview, and it can be for any number of reasons. Bryce says it says EDD needs to verify my identity again, even though I did it with ID.me. And the lady said you'll continue to keep certifying for weeks. Got the 11-week message. What do I do? So can you go on to ID.me? I made a video about it. I'm wearing like an orange shirt in it. It's the most recent like regular video that shows you how to properly check that you've shared your information with the EDD. The EDD put in writing, although I don't know how trustworthy that is, that it's only supposed to take 7 to 10 business days once they get that information from ID.me. ID.me has said that it only takes them 24 hours to submit that information to the EDD. So that shouldn't take that long. The EDD did earlier, sorry guys, the EDD did earlier tell some of our assembly members that even with ID.me, it would take up to 30 days. And if it's, if you've been able to certify, but you haven't been able to get paid, and your claim didn't hit 0 before December 26th, I would enlist the help of your assembly member. Okay, here's where I started answering questions. Frankie, you guys, please, it's hard for me. It makes my screen jump. I don't mind if you write in all caps, but it's really hard for me to keep up with the flow of the chat if you just spam the comments. So Frankie, I'm going to answer your question or try to, but then I'm going to mute you. The only thing that would make me mute you is if you spam the question like that over and over again. And I'm really sorry about that. So Frankie says, what if my benefit year is ending March 22nd, but I'm on Fed Ed? The way it's written, and Frankie, maybe I won't mute you. I'll give you one more chance, but please don't answer that question again, because I just now said that, and maybe you're new to the live stream. So I won't mute you just yet, but if you have a follow-up question, just ask it once. What if my benefit year is ending March 22nd, but I'm on Fed Ed? So maybe I'll share this in a community post, but the instructions from the DOL, which stands for Department of Labor, and that supersedes anything from the EDD, it says that if at any point on our claims we're eligible for a new regular unemployment claim, we need to switch over to that new regular unemployment claim. And again, that's because they want the state to be paying for it and not the federal government. So it is my understanding that they're going to make you try and apply for a new claim. But if you call, the reps do seem to be able to tell right over the phone if you've got enough wage history to qualify for a new claim. And if you don't have enough wage history to qualify for a new claim, then they will continue to let you draw down your Fed Ed either for 20 weeks. And if your Fed Ed hits 0 before April 10th, then they would add on the current PEUC extension, the second one, that would take you through April 10th. And then, of course, we're waiting for new information on the stimulus bill. And Frankie, I'm not going to mute you, but guys, please only ask the question one time. And I'm scrolling back up because that just made like my chat jump all crazy. Okay. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to like lecture anybody either. It's not, I know you guys are frustrated with the EDD and feel free to vent. It's just like my bad not being able to figure out how to like control these comments. Okay. So Bryce was saying that he already verified his, oh yeah. So we did that. Some people are being asked to verify their ID twice. And that sounds really suspect to me. So you want to watch that video about how to check to make sure that you shared your information with the EDD. And if it looks like it shared successfully, I would call the EDD and be like, hey, it's showing that you guys got everything successfully. ID.me said it was verified. Why do I need to do this again? Sometimes the messages cross. Like sometimes we'll certify for benefits and then a day later we get an email telling us it's time to certify for benefits. But I don't want to tell you that something has crossed and then it's actually some other issue. Okay. I am Swills Pickled Liver says, can anyone let me know how long it takes to go from not paid to paid once you talk to an adjuster? It's all different times. It's really all different times, anywhere from a couple days to over a week. I don't have a concrete answer on exactly how long that would take. Jennifer says, do you know if I will get paid for my last 12 pending weeks? I have to file a new claim tomorrow. I still haven't been paid since 12/2. All the EDD reps just keep telling me is to wait. So why haven't you been paid since 12/2? Have they been able to tell you your benefit year didn't end back on 12/2? Again, that's something I would try and enlist the help of your assembly member on, because that's really early in December. Or maybe you're part of the group that can't certify until March 7th, but your claim ended so far early in December that shouldn't be the case. Nina says, good evening. Okay. Chasen says, hi there, my account says pending, as I did the ID.me 2 weeks ago because my benefit year ended. Will I have to get a telephone interview in order to get my benefits? Not necessarily, but if your benefit year ended, have you filed a new claim? And every time, this is why kind of for that one, rather than reapply on your own, I do tend to lean towards calling the EDD to have them help. Is all of the new claims take at least 21 days to process. And even though we had existing claims, I think when we file a new claim, it starts that process over again. So the EDD reps can definitely expedite that if you can get a hold of them. Jay says, hi. Angel Sirs says, hello. Jay says he's currently on PUA, got the email on Saturday that I'm being moved back to PEUC. On PUA, you're getting $167 a week. PEUC was almost $400 a week. Will the amount revert? Yes, it will. So you're getting more money once they move you back. So that's good. I don't think they will retroactively pay the difference, but for weeks going forward, yes, it's going to that higher amount plus the $300 a week boost. So that is good news for you. Oh, Brenda, I haven't seen you in a long time in here. I hope you're still in the chat. Your sister had to call EDD because her account, it kept saying pending. So she got through with them after being on the phone for 2 hours. Then the phone went dead. So she called back. Brenda, I'm going to try and find the rest of your. So she called back and got a phone interview in 7 to 14 days. So yeah, there must be something weird on the account. That can also be they need to verify your last day worked. It can be that they need to verify why you left your employer. And unfortunately, if they've told her that she needs one of those phone interviews, I don't think there's a way to speed that up any faster than the 7 to 14 days. But once she has the phone call, it should be pretty quick. But I'm sorry she has to wait at all. Valerie says, I certified last Sunday and it switched to not paid. I called and they said they had switched my claim from PUA to PEUX. And what have you been doing? Sorry, it's in 2 places and I'm not good at finding that either, but I'm gonna give it a try. Sorry, you guys know what to do. When I get lost, take a moment and like the video. I found the second half of that comment. Your account is fine. You have over $6,000 left. You certified last week and it switched to paid off. It says nothing on my end, just switching me to the PUX claim. What do I do? So I would probably wait if that's what they've told you. It probably is going to delay things as they get everybody switched back to that, but it should get sorted out. But I'm sorry that you have to wait at all. Snowsurf says, everything worked out for you. Oh, good. And you've got a positive mental attitude. And you're welcome, you guys. I don't always have the right answers. I hate when my answer is to tell you to call the EDD, but I'm here for you guys to vent and just to try and help and try and be a calming force and let you guys know that you're not in this alone at all. There are lots of us going through this. Louis says, Terry, Ooh, I don't know what that means, but it's got a smiley face, so we'll assume that that's good. David the Gemini says, what do you think our chances are to get reapproved for a new claim, and when does your claim expire? So my claim expires March 13th. So in less than a month, I'll be letting you guys know exactly how that process is. I'll document it in a video. It really depends on your base wages, but there's also so the base period for me, I applied last March, but they used a base period of October of 2018 through September of 2019. So that means towards a new claim, I've got October of 2019, November 2019, December 2019, January 2020, February of 2020, and part of March of 2020. So I would think that I have enough wages to qualify for a new claim, but there's a little something in there about you also needed to have some work between when you applied for benefits and when you first applied for benefits and now, something like that. For me, I did work a few shifts at the movie theater. So I think I'm going to qualify for a new claim, but I don't honestly know. I also had to report a little bit of earnings from YouTube. It's not a lot, but I did that. I don't know if that'll count towards working a little bit since my last claim. So, but I don't want you guys to worry if you don't qualify for a new claim, because again, that's what should be in this new stimulus bill. And it should really take all of us through August 29th if it passes, but it's looking like it will pass through August 29th. They were talking about September. That date does not seem to be in play anymore. Okay. Will says, used all my FedEd. Now it says I should be able to certify again beginning the first week of March. Do you think they will automatically apply those weeks, or will I have to call? With the EDD, it's so hard to say. I hope that you're able to certify and get paid, but it wouldn't surprise me if you have to call to get it sorted out. Rachel said, should I still certify if my benefit's at zero? Yes. If it will let you certify, absolutely certify, because sometimes for whatever reason, it doesn't update your new benefit amount until you certify. So it's normal for your claim to hit zero and to see the maximum benefits paid message. And I had a video that says that was a good sign, and it still is. It means everything's in motion. But now the EDD is so backlogged, it's supposed to make it so that you don't have gaps when you certify, but they're so backlogged that there are some gaps. So if you're not able to certify, so if you certify again and your claim zero and it doesn't update and you don't get paid like you expect to, then call them and reach out to your assembly member. Okay. Felix says, thank you, Felix. Andy says, Shelly, my claim year for benefits ended on 1/31/21, but I was on extension till May and still had a balance left. Now I am pending and was told that I had to reopen a new claim, but I'm scared that they won't pay me. So a lot of people, when your benefit year ends, for whatever reason, it's letting people continue to certify, and then it's getting stuck on pending. It does want you to open a new claim. I want to try and be really careful not to say reopen claim, because reopen claim and reapplying are two different problems. The reopen claim is a button that really only should be there for people who went back to work, they weren't certifying for a little while, got laid off again. Then they would reopen the claim, but they would be within their benefit year. So you need to reapply, which is interchangeable for file a new claim once your benefit year is ended. Even if you can certify, if your claim is pending and it's past your benefit year, it's very likely because you need to actually go through the process of applying for a new claim. And again, really the fastest way to do that is with a rep on the phone. Okay, George Katz, thank you for the donation. You guys, we're all on unemployment. It's all pending. So I appreciate it. It helps me see your question. Totally not necessary. George says, I know you said you don't do consulting, but I'm very desperate to speak to you. I will pay you generously for a 10-minute phone call. Is it something that you can write in little pieces here? Because I don't want to be paid generously. I want to try and help you guys, but but here, Also, I'm thinking about maybe, I don't know how many of you have heard of Clubhouse or doing Clubhouse. I would like a way where you guys can give me follow-up questions, and I'm not quite sure how to do that. So maybe if you guys are on Clubhouse, it's kind of like a new social media platform. Maybe we can try and do something there. But George, try and ask me in little pieces over here, and I'll try and help you. No extra money needed. And if it's so messed up that it really requires a lot of help, I'm probably not going to be able to help. And I would really recommend enlisting the help of your assembly member. Okay. I lost my place. Please like the video. I am Swill's Big Liver says, Rachel, don't do that. I'm stuck in limbo because I did that. You're stuck in limbo because you certified when your balance was at 0. That doesn't sound right to me. It sounds like there's something else to that problem, but I'm not sure what it would be. Christian, thanks for the offer. Gerbelli, I'm not sure how to say your name. I'm so sorry. You did ID.me, but you never heard back. What should I do? So I did make a video. I'm wearing like an orange shirt. It tells you how to verify if the EDD got your information. Try watching that. If that doesn't help you, try reaching out to your assembly member and calling the EDD to confirm that they got that from you. Jonathan says that his benefit year ends 3/13/2021. Mine does too. So I will for sure be making a video as soon as I know what happens with that. I do think they're going to make us reapply. Guillermo says you have not been able to certify. It says you have received all benefits payable to you at this time. So Guillermo, I'm now forgetting what that earlier bit was about, but I think you might be part of phase 2, which then would mean that you should be able to certify by March 7th. Dexter says, my second PEUC is supposed to start March 7th, but my claim year expires March 13th. Will I have to open a new claim and lose the PEUC second? So first of all, you didn't call it 11 weeks. I just wanted to remind everybody that it might not last a full 11 weeks anyway. It wouldn't exactly be losing it because if you qualify for a whole new claim, you would be gaining 26 more weeks of benefits. Whereas this current PEUC extension, the second one is done for all of us at the latest April 10th. And it could end for some people, not you if you're not on it yet, but it can end for some people as early as March 13th. So if you qualified for a whole new claim, you would get 26 fresh weeks. If you don't qualify for a new claim, that's when you would get those additional weeks of PEUC that would take you through April 10th on your claim. Maddie Man 5 says, that I should have 135 thumbs up. Thank you, Maddie Matt. Gabino says, I just certified for my last week of PEUC. Now what? So that's probably your first PEUC extension. So now you'll get the second PEUC extension, which should take you as well through April 10th. Valerie, we got yours. We got Frankie's. Oh, Carrie, yes. About the new business loans for PPP, do they go against not a PUA? No, I don't think that, I said PUA, not a PPP loan. So Carrie messaged me on the community chat and wanted to know about how a business loan would affect his unemployment. I don't think that you need to report that. PPP loan, you would, because you would need to pay yourself, but a business loan, you shouldn't need to report that, as far as I know. I think of it like a personal loan. You wouldn't report a personal loan, or if you took a credit card advance, you wouldn't need to report that. So in my mind, it works the same way, but I do want to remind everybody that I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax professional. I don't work for the EDD. But that's how I'm viewing that. The same as if you took a cash advance against a credit card and you would not report that to the EDD. So I don't think you would report a business loan to them either. Unless you were using that to pay yourself a salary, and then perhaps you would. But like if you took a business loan to pay building rent or building utilities or something like that, you wouldn't. But if you were giving yourself a salary out of that, then technically you would report your salary. I hope that made sense, and thank you for reminding me about that. Solomon says that they need help. You have a negative balance of 10K. They reduced your weekly balance from 450 to 167. So Solomon, that might be because of the whole mess up where it wasn't clear that people were supposed to report their net earnings. And so a lot of people reported gross earnings. But there is the possibility for an overpayment waiver. So when they sent you the letter letting you know that your benefits were going to be decreased, was there appeal paperwork with that packet? If so, send back the appeal, and you're going to want to request an overpayment waiver. And then hopefully they'll do that for you. Jonathan says, my benefit year ends 3/13, but my Fed ed ends 5/13. Well, I still get PUEX. We're calling that second PUA, PEUC extension, all sorts of crazy things. Officially on the EDD flowchart, it's just called PEUC. If you want to see what extension you're on, you want to look at your claim and see payment type. And if you're on the second PEUC extension, it's listed there as, I think, extension tier 2 is how it's officially listed on our payment types. But anyway, so right now, the second PEUC extension, it expires April 10th. So no, you wouldn't necessarily get this one, but when your Fed ed ends, first of all, your benefit year, I think they're going to try and make you apply for a new claim. If you don't qualify for a new claim, then they would let you continue drawing down your Fed ed balance. And then we expect there to be something in the new stimulus bill, not this PEUC extension. I hope they call it something else so that it's less confusing. But there should be another extension that will take you all the way through August 29th, as long as that passes, and if you don't qualify for a new claim. Your intuition says, hello, your PEUC runs out in March, so you get an extension from Fed Ed automatically. Not necessarily. And the timing of a lot of our claims that are expiring in March is going to be really interesting to see what happens. And I was kind of waiting for this last time. I was like, are they going to put me on the second PEUC extension, or are they going to go ahead and roll me into Fed Ed? Fed Ed, there are some earnings requirements. They will automatically check to see if you qualify for Fed Ed. And if there's something in the new stimulus bill that gives us a different extension, or another PEUC XX or PEUC Z or whatever they're going to call the next one, it's possible that we would go into whatever that one is in the new stimulus bill instead of being put on Fed Ed. So we're going to kind of have to wait and see. So, but with Fed Ed, they're going to if that's the path that we go, if something's not in the new stimulus bill about that, or the stimulus bill isn't passed, so they go ahead and put us on Fed Ed, they'll automatically check to see if you're eligible for that. Gian says, what should we do if we already did everything and the EDD has still not verified your account when it's been over a month? That is really when I would reach out to your assembly member and say, hey, I've done everything. I'm verified on ID.me. I've done everything that they asked me to, and it's been a month and I have not been paid. Can you please look into my claim and see if you can help me? They've been really good about that. Felix said your latest certification says not paid. Could be that they're switching you between programs, but it could mean that you need to call them. Lucia says, I got to certify for 1 week, but now it says I can't claim until your current benefit year ends. So that probably means your claim balance went to 0. They're probably switching you on to a different extension. You can call them to confirm that, though, if you want, because things that were supposed to happen automatically have not necessarily been happening automatically. I would tend to wait at least until, like, if you just certified, only for 1 week. You actually should be able to certify again this coming Sunday. And then if you can't certify this Sunday, that's when I would call them. Use Ask EDD, use Contact Us, and reach out to your assembly member. Andy says, I'm on Fed Ed till May, but regular year ends 1/31/21. They want me to reopen claim, but I don't know why. Are they going to take my money away or go back to Fed Ed? So they're not going to take money away. You're either going to get that new claim or you're going to continue to draw down on the Fed Ed money that is in your existing claim. Frankie, we got yours that you asked 9 million times. But now that made me lose my place again. How's that possible? Okay. I'm scrolling up, you guys. I'm a little far behind in the comments like usual. Oh, Grandma Ducky gave me a little 100% and a little donation. Thank you, Grandma Ducky. That's certainly nice. I'm scrolling back up. Oh, Grandma Ducky has a question. So let's get Grandma Ducky's question since she made a little donation. I know a lot of people that EDD has sent letters to demanding repayment. They're going to ruin everyone that just got ahead. In the last stimulus bill that passed December 27th, they're certainly causing a lot of anxiety and stress, and news outlets aren't helping. And I mean, they're trying to help, but their headlines are so sensational. I think it's stressing people out. These things are not in our control. So there is the possibility for an overpayment waiver if you get one of those notices. I have heard that once you go through the appeal process, about 92% of cases, so almost all of the cases, almost 100% of those cases, like in the sticker you sent me, are in the favor of the people getting benefits. So I'm really hoping. The appeal process is a long process. It's a stressful process, but I'm really hoping that they waive those overpayments for people. And that is a possibility now. Heidi says, hello. Sorry, I lost my place. So I'm scrolling back up. So I'm going a little bit out of order. Oops. I think this is where I am. Okay, so Mac Brown says, and I'm sorry if I skipped your question. If I did, I'm not sure if I'm going to get to all the questions, but try asking it once again down in the current chat. Mac Brown says, ID me has to escalate my identification to the EDD. Should I contact the EDD? I have not heard about them escalating it. So yeah, I mean, definitely try reaching out to the EDD to find out what's going on. Ed D, your 545 question. All right, Ed D, I'm going to scroll. I'm going to see if I can find you at 545. Just a note, this is probably going to let me. Oh dear, Ed D. Thank you for giving me a timestamp, though. That does help if I miss your question to give me a timestamp so I know what I'm looking for. Ed D, I don't see a question. At 5, I see 545 Pam, and then it goes to 546 Michelle. So Ed, I don't see your question. I did not intentionally skip you, though, I promise. I'll look at 605 to see if maybe that's what you meant. I don't see it there, Ed. I'm sorry. Thank you to the rest of you that are patient while I try and find my place. Oh, I missed a nets though, so let's do a nets. My UI year is up in March. I'm on Fed Ed. Is that what they will put me back on? It depends, because you might qualify for a whole new claim, and if you do, then that's what they would put you on. Bryce is telling me that the EDD needs to verify his ID again. Yes, I would. Call them and find out and ask for help for your assembly member. They shouldn't be asking you to do that again. But that's not necessarily uncommon. I've seen a lot of reports of that, but I have to be honest, I don't know why that's happening. Carolyn says, what about unemployment claim balance going to zero after I certify 221? Is PEUC the name of the first extension after UI dropped to a zero balance? Yes, they're both called PEUC. Some people are calling this you wouldn't get the first PEUC, so this would be the second PEUC. That's going to take you through April 10th. So Yes, PEUC is the next one, but some people might call it PEUCX or PEUX. They're calling it lots of different things, but officially it's just more PEUC. Jesse says, my benefit year is ending. How will I get approved again if I've only worked 2 weeks since March 2020 till now? You might not, but that's when you would continue to get extensions that we expect to pass in Congress. Felix says, your certification says not paid. You might need to call and thank you. Uh-oh, Jeffrey, I skipped your question from the beginning. Jeffrey, try asking it again. If I miss your question, you guys, I'm so sorry. Oops. Frankie says, thank you, finally. Rachel says, hello. Uh-oh. Valerie, they're switching. Yep, we looked at that. How long is it going to take to switch over? I'm not sure. If you just got the letter, it should happen quickly, and at the latest, I would think your next certification schedule. But the EDD, man, is so backlogged, and they've messed up so much that I'm not honestly sure what to expect on that. Donna says, thanks for everything. You got paid for 4 weeks that were previously pending. They said you needed an interview before that, but never had one. Do you think I will need to have one? I'm not sure. I hope not. I hope not. That's a really good sign that it went to paid from pending, and that they told you that you had to do the interview, but now you didn't. So that makes me happy, and I'm optimistic about that. Frodo says, I wasn't able to do my verification through ID.me because of a name change, but I did verify with a tier 2 representative and got a verification form, submitted confirmation number. Very smart, Frodo. Always try and get something in writing from them. That is great that you've got that and that you got a confirmation number. Somjit says, your UI ends February 7th. How long will EDD extend to PEUC? Usually you can certify right again in 2 weeks, but they are a little bit backlogged. But if you're not able to certify again, for you, that would be February 21st. So if on that Sunday you're not able to certify, go ahead and call them and reach out to your assembly member. Chasen, I think I did yours. Chasen. Thomas says, your benefit year ends March 1st, but I'm told that I should be able to certify by March 7th. Do I need to reapply for a new claim? You are caught in a very strange place, Thomas. I would wait until you can certify for all those retroactive weeks, March 7th, and then see if you get like a message with a link to apply for a whole new claim. You're the first person that I've heard that's in that situation, but I would definitely wait to get this last set of pending weeks paid until you reapply. And it shouldn't cause problems to reapply, but since you've been pending so long, let's get those weeks paid and then see what they tell you. Frankie, you're welcome. I changed my makeup and hair. Tina says, hello. Michael says, April, the second stimulus ends in March, not April. So the boost ends in March 13th. That's the last week that we'll get this $300 weekly boost. In the new stimulus bill that hasn't passed yet, they're looking at giving us $400 a week. But for people whose claims had a balance that were on PUA or the PEUC extension, it phases out. So those people, even if the new stimulus bill takes a long time to get through, if it's not quite ready, if you have a claim balance on your PUA claim or your PEUC claim after March 13th, you should still be able to certify and get benefits either until those benefits run out or until April 10th. So there's a phase out program past March 13th for just your weekly benefit amount if you're on PUA or PEUC. If you're still in your regular 26 weeks of UI, that doesn't end or phase out either of those dates. The same with Fed Ed. that doesn't end or phase out either of those dates. So the only thing with a set end date is that $300 boost. There are some people on PUA or PEUC whose claim balance will hit zero that week. That would end for them as well. And that's why I'm not sure if the new stimulus bill is still like being sorted out. For people like me whose benefit year ends March 13th, I'm not sure if they're already going to get those wheels turning to roll me on to Fed Ed, which doesn't expire then, or if the new stimulus bill will be passed then, and they'll just kind of pause my claim to see if there's another extension in that new stimulus bill. And then that's also when my benefit year ends. So I'm not sure if I expect that they're going to have me try and apply for a whole new claim. And I kind of think that I might qualify for one. So it's going to be a very interesting next couple of weeks. I hope that made sense. Oh, Frankie's even apologizing for the spam. Thank you. Antonio says, you're on PUA. Your claim has been pending since December 26th. I had a balance at the end of December. My claim was suspended like everybody else. I did the ID me on January 13th. EDD has not lifted the suspension. So again, check to make sure that you shared that information with the EDD. And if you did, please reach out to your local assembly member. Sorry, my hair got weird. Okay. Carrie, thanks for all the clarity. It's greatly appreciated. You guys are welcome. Sometimes I feel like I don't explain it very well, but I'm really trying. I want to help you guys understand it. It helps me to understand it. It helps me break it down for employees that I used to work with. Andy says, if they make me apply for a new claim, could they tell me I couldn't qualify or go back to Fed Ed? I was supposed to get paid today and nothing. My benefit year ended 1/31, but has extension till May. So again, I think that they're going to make you apply for a whole new claim. And then if you don't qualify, that's when they'll start to pay out on these pending weeks on an expired claim, because they would put you onto the extension. If you qualify for the whole new claim, they're going to switch you to that. And then Rachel says, my PEUC claim was closed 2 weeks ago before you ran out of funds. I had to reopen my claim, but my benefit distribution has been pending for a week now. Do you know why? I don't know why. I know that the reopen claim button was a glitch for a lot of people, and it was supposed to go away automatically, but it didn't for a lot of people. My boss has been dealing with lots of other stuff. He hasn't had time to call. That reopen claim button never went away for him. And I'm not sure why it's pending right now. So I would call them and reach out to your assembly member. Felix, we did yours. I would go ahead and call and reach out to your assembly member. And Ed D, I couldn't find your question. Tony said, I certified 2 weeks and still pending. Do I just have to wait? If you've been pending for 2 weeks, I would call them to find out why. It's not really normal to be pending any longer than 72 hours. Mohammed says, certified on Sunday at 6 a.m., usually paid by now, but still says pending. Is this happening more than usual this week? It is every time there's a holiday, even though it's not, the payments are supposed to be computerized. 72 hours is within the realm of normal, especially today is President's Day. It does tend to stay pending longer on a holiday. So I wouldn't worry about it unless it doesn't switch to paid by tomorrow night at the latest. And then if it doesn't switch to paid, that's when I would be concerned and reach out to them. Audio says not paid status with the crying face. Yeah, I would call them about that. Young Pop says, oh, I tweeted Blake Hall and he responded, got a representative to email and then call me directly and walk me through the process to verify my identification. Will that change what? I don't see the rest of your question. That should help. You guys, and if you are stuck on ID.me, I don't know if you did that, Young Pop, because I suggested it, but yeah, ID.me is a pain in the butt as well. Talking to the trusted referees, taking 5 hours is pretty unacceptable. But that CEO, Blake Hall, I don't know if it's actually him or if he has people doing it, but unlike the EDD, they're responding on Twitter, and it seems like they're at least trying to help people. I tweeted that guy at like 8:30 on a Saturday and got a response back. So they win points for me for trying. I don't think that should change anything. That should help if you had somebody actually like walk you through the process. Yes, Robert says holiday today. Cecilia says you just got your 11 weeks added. How long will it take for you to get paid? So if you see that added to your claim balance, you should be able to certify soon. Oh, Young Pop said disqualified. You should be able to certify again in 2 weeks if that got added to your claim balance, and then get paid like regular. And if it doesn't, that's when I'd call and reach out to your assembly member. Robert says you got suspended 1-9, paid 1-2, ID 124, called 125, got through. A few days later, letter to send ID and docs. Next certification, new claim balance updated for regular unemployment, expired December 1st, but was on Fed Ed, and now you got paid. Well, Robert, that sounds like a whole lot that you had to go through, but you say now you got paid, so that's good. Manny says, I got a message on my UI online saying I'm being switched from PUA to PEUC. When I certify, would I have any pending issues because I was switched? You shouldn't, but it's the EDD, so I'm not willing to say 100% there will be no issues. But the fact that they sent that letter should mean that their computers are ready to handle it. We'll see. You'll let me know. C says you're on PEUC. You have the maximum benefits paid. You've already been on the extension once. Will I be extended again? Yes, you should get a second PEUC extension that should take you through the week of April 10th. And that should be automatic. Frank says, where's the ID Me download button? It has disappeared from the EDD homepage. So the button was actually the DocuSign link, which is the one that takes like 8 weeks to get verified. The ID.me should be a link in your email. They did say that today was the last day to do ID verification if you were asked. So check your email, see if there's an ID.me link. It's my recommendation not to go search out ID Me and do it on your own, because they actually listed that as something that can make it problematic to get verified. Since today was the last day to upload everything on ID.me, if you don't see the link or the button, I would send the EDD in writing. So through either Ask EDD or your UI online messages, just let them know like, hey, I tried to do it by today, which you guys said is the deadline, and I don't have the link anymore. I don't have the button, but I'm trying. Then maybe tell them in writing like how much time you need to get everything completed. Okay. Oops, Robert. Oh, Robert, you got more stuff going on with your claim. Oh, so you got paid. Okay, so this is more. You got paid 1-9 through 129. March 1st, new extension, but got letter in the mail saying to prove wages from past year when started on UI. No job, moved from California to Arizona following spouse. What do I do? So do you have the 2019 taxes, like a Schedule C? I would send them everything that you can, even if it has to be handwritten, explaining like where your wages were or why you didn't have wages. You should still be able to get PUA if the reason why you're currently unemployed is due to the pandemic. Send them whatever you can. Andy says Andy, we got yours. Yeah, you would go back. They're not going to discontinue you. If you don't have enough for a new claim, you would go back to Fed Ed. Oh, Cecilia says it's her first time here. And I am running about 30 minutes behind on the comments, so I'm really sorry about that. I'm going to try and speed it up because I do need to try and wrap this one up close to the hour mark. Your certification. Yep, you got to call them. Not Larry. If it says not paid, it could be that they're switching you between programs, but you should probably also call and follow up. Jesse says, I'm on PEUX. Your benefit year ends March 22nd. You haven't worked enough, you think, to open a new claim. Will I not be paid anymore? My job just closed permanently and I'm preparing to apply for a new job. No, not necessarily. First of all, there's stuff in the works in this new stimulus bill that hasn't passed. So even if you don't qualify for a new claim, there should be another program by then for you to go into. I just don't know officially what it's going to be called or how it's going to work. Also, if you're on the second PEUC, you could potentially qualify for Fed Ed, which doesn't expire even if the new stimulus bill doesn't pass. So, but by March 22nd, we should have new stimulus. So there should be some other extension for you to go into that would take you through August 29th. Jeffrey. So same, for you, it's going to be the second PEUC extension that they're sometimes calling PEUX, and that will take you through April 10th if you haven't run out of the first one yet. Alpha wolf snake. I don't like snakes, but I like wolves. So alpha wolf snake. Hey, Shelly, I was last paid $12.27. Balance is 0. Benefit year is 3/29/20 on extension. EDD says I'm maximum benefits paid and can't file another claim until the current year ends. What do I do? So your balance hit 0 on 12/27. I think that means you're part of phase 2, so you should be getting a letter soon that says you can certify by March 7th, but definitely call them if you have any questions. We got to Grandma Ducky's. Yep, the EDD's awful. Lucia says I'm on PUA and I certified 214. Got the maximum benefits paid. 214 and you're on PUA. PUA really should go through at least 313. So give them a call on that. It shouldn't be done yet on PUA. Caesar says, have they stopped asking for repayment? I'd like to know if I can spend the money or not. Haven't certified since the first week of December. Was on PUA. Still shows over 10,000 on your now abandoned claim. Okay, so I'm not sure on that, and I'm sorry about that. They may ask you for the repayment, and then you're going to need to file an appeal. And then once you do the appeal, which can take up to 8 weeks, that's when they would potentially waive the overpayment. So I would still put that money aside if you can until you find out what's going on with that. And if you ran out of benefits that early on PUA with over $10,000, that seems so crazy to me. I would reach out to your assembly member as well and be like, hey, I haven't been paid since December. My claim has a balance. Is there anything you can help me to do to get it moving along? Very Kern says my benefit year ended January 3rd. I was told I needed to open a new claim, which the EDD rep did for me, but I had certified for 2 weeks already, January 13th. And January 20th, and those weeks say not paid status. So it sounds like you've been getting paid since then. I would call another rep and say, hey, there was some confusion while they were putting me on a new claim, but I really should be paid for those weeks. What needs to happen in order for me to be paid on those weeks? I am Swill said, thank you, Shelly. Some people said it's on the spot. The adjuster told me 48 hours. It's been 5 days. I would call them. I'm not sure what that's in response to anymore, but if they told you 48 hours and it's been 5 days, I would call. And thank you, Cecilia, for reminding people to like the video. I certainly appreciate it. I appreciate all of you guys, and I'm really sorry for all this mess that's going on with the claims. Yes, it definitely helps the algorithm and the channel and all of that. TR427 says, can I skip work search even though it says I need to do 3 work searches per week? I think I've answered this before. I think you've been in the streams. I always just list the places. What if I find my dream job? I'm too nervous that it's going to cause problems. But the EDD says that the work search requirement is waived. So there are lots of people that say they answer yes, they've looked for work, but that then they they do just skip the next section where you're supposed to list it. Frodo says, so I'm okay with needing to verify by the 15th today, or will they disqualify my claim for not verifying by today? Still pending since 12/19 to 2/7, able to certify, just not being paid. Frodo, please, 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 I hope you're still on. Send them something on Contact Us so that you have something in writing that you reached out to them by the deadline. Also, maybe try reaching out to that CEO on Twitter. Also, go send an email today to your assembly member, letting them know that you're having trouble verifying your ID and that you're worried about being disqualified. Hopefully that will stop that process in motion, because I don't want them to disqualify your claim, which is what they said would happen if you don't upload everything by today. But I think sending them something in writing would be a good first step. And certainly if you do get disqualified and appeal, having it in writing that you tried to contact them today will work in your favor. Antonio, we're too far down for me to scroll up and we're nearing the end of the live. Can you please ask your question again? I'm so sorry that I missed it. So if I do miss the question, it is okay to answer it again. It's easier. Shoot, now I feel bad and I'm going to scroll up. Okay, so this one is it. See, I already lost my place. Okay, 619. Antonio wants me to go back to 606. No, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not good at computering. I mean, I'm totally good at computering in case. 606. Anthony, did yours get mixed in with? Oh dear, man, you guys had a lot of questions at 606. I don't see it, Anthony. I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry. Okay. I'm really sorry if I missed your questions, you guys. I'm getting better at scrolling, but like not perfect. Oh, then I moved my whole webcam or something. Okay. Oh, now I've got a donation. Thank you, Nobby. I know somebody named Nobby, but he spells his like Naubi. I can't even tell from the picture. My eyes are bad. Anyway, the Nobby I know is a he. I hope you jump on the Clubhouse app. It's like live podcasting. You control the mic and be able to interact by audio. You'd be perfect on it. So Nami, I'm not sure if you heard this. I actually would really love to do one of these on Clubhouse, I think, because a lot of times like this only allows you to put in like so many characters. And I know that like sometimes I have follow-up questions for people, or like it would be easier if they weren't limited to a certain number of characters that they have to type in for them to communicate the question. So I am really thinking about, instead of maybe doing like a second live, because I kind of think it's overkill for you guys. I like doing the lives. I really love them. But I think it might be more beneficial to do like the YouTube live on Sunday and then maybe move this to Clubhouse on Monday. I'm not quite sure yet, but thank you for the donation and for the suggestion. I am on Clubhouse, Shelly's Millions, if you guys want to follow me there. But yeah, I think that's definitely something that I want to explore. I'm not sure how many of my viewers are on Clubhouse though, and I don't, like, I'm really new to it, so I don't quite know how like the invites and stuff work, because it is invitation only, I guess. I don't know. I'm a little confused about that part. But yeah, I would love to be on Clubhouse. Sorry, trying to find my place again. Andy's saying he'll never get paid. Never say never. David says, at George Katz, I'm not an expert, but I know a pretty good amount of stuff, and to email him. David the Gemini seems like a nice guy, but I'm always nervous about emailing people off the internet. Definitely don't email your personal information to anyone. Is it safe to say that all claims are a year from the day we expired? Pretty much. It's like a few days beforehand. So like my claim started March 15th, but my claim expires March 13th. So it's like a couple days beforehand. George, no. But let's do Clubhouse. Some Can of Olives. That's a cool name. Hi, Shelly. I'm on PEUC since late October, and I just certified for my last $349 on my balance. I'm wondering, will I get the additional 11 weeks? Sort of, but it's not going to last a full 11 weeks anymore. It's going to take you only through the week ending April 10th. Adios says I called EDD and they told me to get a job. They better not have. They really better not have. Do they want to come babysit your kids or make sure that you're not sick if you have an older relative? That comment, it like hurts me, like that someone would say that to you guys. Some of us want to go back to work. I think I would go back to work, but my mom is old and she needs my help. I'm going to go see her tomorrow. I work in a public interfacing job. I'm going to be touching money. I'm going to be touching, popcorn scoop. I'm going to do that and try and keep the public safe while I'm touching money and the popcorn scoop. Maybe they won't even let us serve popcorn when we reopen. But it's not, and I have high blood pressure, and I'm just switching health insurance because I lost my good job health insurance, which puts me at high risk, and I'm going to be working in the public at a movie theater where presumably people are going to be allowed to pull down their mask at least long enough to eat. We're going to keep you guys safe and socially distanced when we're allowed to reopen. But I myself, then I'm going to go into those rooms that you guys have been sitting in, eating, hopefully, and then I'm going to be cleaning that. And I'll have all sorts of crazy protective gear, and we have a spray that we're going to spray. There's a whole cinema safe program. But I still feel like if I'm interacting with the public, I'm not sure I'm going to want to see my mom. And that breaks my heart because I want to keep her safe. She's highly allergic. She can't take the vaccine. I will take the vaccine as soon as it's available. It's just hurtful to tell people to go back to work right now. And for an EDD rep with a job to say that, sorry guys, I get emotional like that. It just bothers me because we don't know each other's situations, and I'm sure a lot of us would love to go back to work and it's just not possible, and childcare is a big one. Literally your kids can get taken away from you if you leave them at home alone and they're too young. So what's someone who's got their kids at home supposed to do? I'm so sorry that someone said that to you. Really, really sorry. I didn't even say it. I'm apologizing on behalf of them. F that person, man. That sucks. That really sucks. Okay, get it together because we're at the end of the live stream. I always lose it at the end of these. Lucia, I think I answered your question. Carrie's saying that he thinks that George's question is personal. I have too much of a bleeding heart, though. I'm about to cry because somebody said for somebody else to get a job. So I'm worried that I'm going to break here, really hearing the personal stories. I'm worried about that a little bit as well. Okay. Whew. Rachel. Nope. Yo sleeps said. And oh no, Adrian says, mine says NA 1 week was paid and they said I got to wait now. It's a waiting game. You're in California. So usually the NA is different than not paid. That really should mean that they're switching you over to the next extension. So yeah, that's normal to only get paid for the 1 week while it goes to 0. Yo Sleeps said, my certification status says disqualified. What can I do? This was 2 months ago. They should have sent you an appeal form, and you need to send that appeal form back. Rachel says, my PUC claim was closed before you ran out of funds. I had to reopen, but your benefits distribution has been paid. I think I answered that one, but I don't know. So you are going to need to call. Mary 805 girl. Somehow I read that as Marigold girl. Anyway, Mary 805 girl says, was honest and told them I quit work to go back to school in April 2020 and they approved me and all has been good until 1/16 and 1/23. It's not paid. You think they're going to come back and say I have to pay them back? Even if they do, you can file an appeal to try and get any overpayments waived. For a while they were not following up on things that would normally flag accounts. Going back to school is something that can flag your account. I'm going to be honest about that, but it's good that you were honest. If you talk to them, if you're in online classes, just say, yeah, I'm in online classes. I can still accept full-time work. If you can accept full-time work, or maybe you're only taking a couple classes that are not during traditional business hours, just say, I am completely available for a full-time job. It just so happens that I'm also going to school. So they're probably going to make you need to have one of those determination interviews. But if you're still able to work full-time while you go to school, and a lot of people are, then just tell them that, and that should clear that up. And then ask them how you should answer that question going forward. Manny says, I got a message on my UI online saying that I'm being switched from PUA to PEUC. When I certify, will I have any pending issues? I think I answered that one too. You shouldn't, but you might, because it's the EDD. Maribel says, what about filing taxes on unemployment? Right now, we need to pay federal taxes on that unemployment, and unfortunately, there's not anything in the new stimulus bill right now that would waive that. Thank you, Ernie, for saying that I'm doing hard work. Aw, thank you, thank you. Gerbelli, I feel like I'm messing up your name, says, thank you very much. What happens if they didn't? Because I heard today was the last day to do ID.me. I heard that as well. So again, I gave some advice earlier to send them something in writing so that at least if they try and disqualify you or something for not submitting on time, you can say, well, hey, I tried to reach out to you by the deadline. That should at least help. Yeah, Yo Sleeps, you need to file an appeal. Big Muscle says, I still haven't gotten paid for the first 4 weeks that you certified. Call them because that's been too long, and also reach out to your assembly member. That's linked in the description of the video. Brandon says, if due to circumstances beyond your control are not able to verify your ID by tomorrow, what does one do? Again, contact them in writing today and let them know. Bambi says that maybe they're switching Yo Sleeps to PUC. But yeah, disqualification usually means that you need to do something to follow up. If they didn't send you paperwork to do an appeal, call them and find out what your next step is. Okay, guys, I'm going to go maybe 10 more minutes. And I'm going to try and, you guys are going to hate me, but I'm going to skip around a little bit and go towards the end, because I always worry that people like in the middle aren't still watching the live right now. So I know that that's not quite fair, but I don't have a better system yet. Okay. Slap says, I texted EDD, you used your phone, you sent a message. Good. Okay. If you send your ID card and W-2, will I be verified? You need to do whatever ID.me is asking for. Zarka, I'm not sure if I said your name right. I'm sorry if I didn't. That's another thing on Clubhouse, is that I could ask you guys how to pronounce your names, and that would be wonderful. Says, hi, Shelly. I'm in PUA. I have a question. For ID me, yesterday you filled it out. You received your certify for 8 weeks, but still paid pending. What can I do? Tomorrow? Yep. Tomorrow call. And reach out to your assembly member. And the link on how to find that is in the description down below. Frank Navarro says, if you did not work for 4 years, can I qualify for EDD? If you have written documentation that you had a job offer, you can apply and see what they say, but you're supposed to have had a valid job offer. Rose Flowers said, the alien world will work faster than the EDD. We need to help bring them down to earth. Yeah, they definitely need some help. Susan says that I'm doing a nice job. Thank you. Thank you, Django. Jennifer says, everyone's 11 weeks start at different times. Got my email says it starts February 7th. Also, when should I be able to certify once I get the email? So probably by the 21st, I would imagine. And yes, people's 11 weeks start at different times. And right now, the 11-week extension won't last a full 11 weeks. That'll be ending at the latest the week of April 10th. A. Garcia says that they reached out to their assembly member on 2/4 and still waiting. It's a good step. Sometimes they've been faster. Some people do have reps that say that they haven't been able to help. Bradford says, I'm on FedEd, still have $5,700, but haven't been paid since January 10th. Says pending. Is your benefit year over? Because it's possible to have a claim balance and for your benefit year to be over. If your benefit year is over, that's 12 months from when you first opened your claim, they're wanting you to reapply before they switch you over. KJ says you put in your last certification for your normal 2 weeks and now you're at 0. It says I cannot apply until your benefit year is up. Yeah, they should just be switching you to the next certification. Slap says, what if on my history I have 2 weeks that say not paid? I would call them and write your assembly member to try and get that fixed. Young Wop says, I just recently filed for PUA. I did ID.me, and after I filed, I upload my documents needed, but when will I get to start my weekly? It's usually for a new PUA claim, it's normally at least a 3-month, not 3 months. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I was reading like another question. 3-week process. It's usually a 3-week process, 21 days for a new claim. Sorry. Why did Scott Peterson get an account? I think we're talking about people in jail. Bradford, if your benefit year is over, they're going to want you to try and apply for a new claim. And I do recommend doing that with a rep on the phone. Scuba? It's not quite Scuba. Steve, your regular unemployment benefits ran out. Should I call them so they can put me on the Fed Ed? If it's just your first 26 weeks that ran out, they should actually be automatically rolling you over to PEUC. But sometimes they're not automatically doing things like they should be. Rich, I don't know what's up with people asking the same questions over and over again. If it's different people, it's just that different people have the same question. Sorry, young mom. 3 weeks. About. It takes at least 21 days, but not 3 months. It shouldn't take 3 months. Lovely Me says, what happens when they switch to PEUC, even if you have a balance on PUA? So the balance on PUA will just kind of go away and you'll go back to getting PEUC through August 10th. Double Cup Vlogs says, I received my first week, but not your second week, and you already received the extension. My second week says NA. So usually that's because you're probably just now going through the first PEUC extension. So the 1 week that you were able to certify probably brought your claim balance down to 0. The second week's going to say NA while they're switching you over to the next PEUC extension that will take you through April 10th. Okay, I'm going to do one more question and then I've got to go for the evening. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to try and figure out about Clubhouse and then how to let you guys know about Clubhouse. For Hale X says, my benefit year ended, but I'm on extension until 5/21, which has been told I didn't need to do anything, but now EDD said there will be a phone interview, but you've heard nothing in 3 weeks. So call them again and reach out to your assembly member. Slap says, what if benefit year is not over, but you already received money on your balance? I'm not sure. If your benefit year is not over, there should be some extension that you should be able to go to. Yeah, Rich, Clubhouse is an app. It requires like an invite though, and that's what I don't quite know how it works. You're welcome, Frank. And okay, I don't know how to say your name. Sejanyu says my photo ID didn't upload and ID.me hasn't gotten back to me yet. Try reaching out to them on Twitter. That's the best I've got from there. And then if they don't get back to you, definitely reach out to them on Contact Us from your EDD UI Online homepage so that you have some proof that you tried to reach out to them right now. Take action. We're going to do yours, and that's going to be the last one because you're in Texas, and I want to. Bye, Heidi. Take action says, is there anything after Fed Ed or extended benefits? You're in Texas. So you might actually get the second PEUC extension, which would take you through April 10th. So how EB or Fed Ed, as it's called here in California, is written, they wanted you to exhaust all your EB before they would give you the 11 weeks of the second PEUC extension. But the second PEUC extension will no longer take you all the way through 11 weeks. It's going to take you through April 10th. And then we do expect that something will pass in the new stimulus package that would extend it more. Okay, you guys are welcome. Have a very good night, and I'll see you next time.